I'm Don Poyer. The temperature about 95 degrees, humidity very high. Tough day today.
And we're going to touch on that right now, Don, and that is the weather, Tom. We want to talk about you having your first race of the year, too, but first of all, the heat and the humidity is really going to be a factor, I think, in today's racing.
Absolutely. It affects both the turbines and the piston engines. With us in particular, this hot air like this and the humidity that's in the air, the engine gets more water and less air. So therefore, the manifold temperature is too cold. So it's like running a car with a choke on. The ideal situation would be cool air and humidity. Then you can make lots of horsepower.
Well, regardless, the boats are heading out. Scotty Pierce in the Budweiser Griffin and Chip Hanauer fresh off a Gold Cup victory in Detroit. Let's see the drivers up close now. First of all, in the host boat, Ron Snyder in the Hulset Miss Madison. Steve Reynolds and the Miss 711, the turbine boat, looking to turn things around here at Madison. He won last year. Scotty Pierce, the Miss Budweiser Griffin out of Seattle. And again, Chip Hanauer looking for his 20th victory overall. And something new for this race, an experimental format. 6 preliminary heats, only 3 laps each, and then the final a regular 5 laps. It should be fun to see how this works out. We have talked about this for a number of years. You hear the PA announcer behind us as the boats on the flying start come under the Madison-Milton Bridge. 4 boats, 7-11. There's the Miller American with Chip Hanauer, and it's a good start here in Madison for Heat 1A. Long straightaways here in Madison, Indiana on the Ohio River. Very tight turns after those long straightaways, diameter of not that much more than 600 feet. The Miller American, Chip Hanauer, starting out right from where he left off in Detroit. Lance Morris, the team manager, watching on the right. And Miller has the lead going down the back chute. Chip Hanauer looking for, as I said earlier, his career 20th victory. And some of the crowd here at Madison, again, down the long straightaways. A good battle for second and third. 7-11 on the inside, the Bud Griffin on the outside. Under the bridge and around the turn comes the Miller American. Hanauer in good position already, and keep in mind, this is more like a sprint. They're only out there for 3 laps rather than a regular 5 or even 6 lap heat. 2.5 mile oval here on the Ohio River, and Chip Hanauer in first place here in lap number 1. Bud Griffin second place. There's the Hulset Miss Madison with Ron Snyder, the host boat. The 7-11 on the inside of the rooster tail of the Budweiser Griffin. Fourth place, Snyder again in the Hulset Miss Madison. Hulset Company being the one that produces the turbochargers for that Allison engine. This the turbo, or rather the turbine engine for the Miller, and of course the 7-11 and Steve Reynolds. The Miller American, they did it on only 1 engine in Detroit to win the Gold Cup a week ago. And of course that was 5 straight for Chip Hanauer. He did it earlier in the Atlas van lines, and then the last 2 years under the red, white, and gold colors of Miller American. Under the Madison-Milton Bridge and down the main straightaway for the 2nd time. Better than 100,000 people here. This, the Budweiser Griffin, it is set to go back to Seattle after this race, so Scotty Pierce wanting to do the best he can while he has a chance to run. It'll run again in Tri-Cities and in Seattle. Miller American still first place. Speed for Chip, 118.094 miles per hour. Again, the Miller team checking the time. Johnny Walters, the crew chief. And, of course, Chip had dedicated the Gold Cup to John Walters going into that race last week. Johnny, a former driver of the Pay and Pack team a couple of years ago. Hanauer going around, fresh water in front of him. Ooh, the Bud Griffin getting a lot of air under him. Gets very, very choppy in both turns here on the Ohio River. Ron Snyder around the outside, playing cat and mouse along with Steve Reynolds. Again, Hanauer in the lead as he goes down the back chute for the final time. Again, only 3 laps here in 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, and then 3A and 3B with 5 laps in the final. Everybody trying to get points. Jerry Verhill talking with his driver Steve Reynolds in the 7-11, and they're trying to iron out some fuel problems to get back and be more competitive here in 1986. Chip Hanauer all alone with nothing but clear water in front of him. Kind of a strange sensation to see the boats go under the bridge, but they have done it for many, many years here at Madison. Great hydroplane racing tradition here in the Indiana city. Of about 15,000, they own the Miss Madison as a city, and of course they've been around for many years. But here comes Chip Hanauer. You can see the huge lead he has here in 1A, and he will pick up 400 points in this, the initial heat of the Indiana Budweiser Governor's Cup. Chip Hanauer, winner of 1A. So Hanauer with 400, second place going to this man, Scotty Pierce, and the Budweiser Griffin. So the results here, average speed for the Miller American 117.0. Miss Budweiser Griffin, Miss 711, and the Holstead Miss Madison with Ron Snyder. Let's go down to the pits and talk to Chip Hanauer.
Let's find out right now. Chip Hanauer, 3 laps seems like an awful short race. How did it feel to you?
It felt great for me. I didn't really real anxious to go another 2. Especially with the heat and everything. And, you know, I think the race has pretty much been determined, so maybe this is a good format, you know. We're going to have another start, and that keeps the fans interested, so who knows, maybe this is the way to go.
What about that completion of lap number 1? You looked like you were awfully high. Did you feel it fly?
Yeah, we made a little change in the boat to see if we could make the boat go a little faster. But I think we're going to go back to what we, you know, used in qualifying. There's some other boats out here that fly worse than ours, and I just hope they're real careful.
And the only place to escape this heat is in the river itself. Jim Kropfeld has got a wet towel on his head. 1B on deck.